The title of this is Talking to Source, messages from spirit, messages from guides, messages from ayahuasca, messages from psychics, all the accounts that people have of messages with guides. And I just want to discuss this for a minute because it's a very interesting subject, and I've just had a client of mine reply. We're helping her to get more clients so that she can financially live her life and still do her healing and spiritual work. Quite a few healers have that same problem where they haven't been charging for their work because they've been in other work. Now they want to transition completely to a healer, but they still can't get paid for it. Therefore, she lost her house and she's like, I can't pay for food and yada, yada, yada. And I'm a bit like, God, spirit, the universe doesn't want people that want to be in service and give and help other people to be financially crippled. And everyone's got funny beliefs and money story around that, because we was brought up with the church going, you're not allowed to make money for this, it's God's gift, it should be free. It's my perspective that everything on this planet is God's gift. So money is God's gift, as well as the air that we breathe, as well as the water that we drink. Nobody's qualming about drinking water, paying for bottled water or anything like that, because somebody's had to service that and put it in a bottle and put it on shelves. Therefore, we're paying for the service of that person. Why would any holding space in a healing be any different to, it's that person's time and service and energy. It should be very well financially rewarded, in my opinion. We're getting off the subject. She wrote back and said, okay, so I've had a message from my guides that I am to have 3 clients per week at my offer of $25 per week, which is still financially crippling. I don't know, I think it's even New Zealand dollars, which I have no idea. That would be 75 New Zealand dollars a week. Can you live off 200 New Zealand dollars per month? Just over? I don't think so. Or $250 a month. If that was even US dollars, it's like £200 a month. If you've got to pay rent, impossible. That £50 a week food budget is like, yeah, okay, she can eat. So my offering was that she should 10x the action and act as though to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clients per week and go for 3 bookings per day, so that she definitely gets the 3. Because if you want 3 and you aim for 3, you'll be lucky to get 1. If you see what I mean. If you aim to get 12, you'll probably get 3 paying clients. But it's very much that she's being almost stubborn, because that was the message from Spirit Source. That was the message from my guides. Therefore, I'm going to aim for 3. And I think that does happen quite a lot with messages from Source. I was guided to do this, therefore that's how it is. And I think it's a weird tactic to blinker ourselves and to not take anyone else's opinion. It's like a trump card that goes, this was my message from Source, therefore it's right. Nobody can now challenge what's come out of my mouth, because I'm delivering this message from God and my guides. Not to poo-poo anyone's connection with spirit at all, I think it's absolutely beautiful, and yes, we need to listen, but I am offering up that we need to appreciate that it comes through our filter, and it is our opinion. Whatever the message from source is coming into us, we churn it up and we blurt out into form through language, through our mind, through thoughts and words, make sense of it, therefore it's awash with our opinion, and we blurt it out and it becomes form. So it would happen to the same if we relate it to a physical event. So if two people went to the same physical event, their accounts through language of them going to that very same event would be different. So that's how I want to describe the personal filter from source. It's exactly the same thing. Two psychics went to the same energetic event. They would both have different accounts through language, through their filters, of that same psychic event. So if you go to see a psychic, if you get any messages from ayahuasca, spirit, whatever it is, it's got to be, for me, appreciated that it comes through this person, whoever's talking it's personal filters. The same as it would if even two people, not just at the same event, witnessing the same thing, would have different accounts. If these two people had the same conversation with each other, then they went to somebody else and they spoke about this conversation that they was both in, they would both still have different accounts of that very same conversation that they were both in at exactly the same time, having this exactly identical experience. They would go and talk about the conversation with two other people and the accounts would be different. It's exactly the same as messages from source and messages from spirit. So you would have, let's say, 5 psychics are all getting a similar account or a similar message from source, which is, yes, would be totally possible, but their versions of it would all be slightly different. Does that make sense? So let's say source divine energy was trying to get a major point across and all these psychics were saying around about the same thing. We could go, well, of course, they're all saying the same thing because it's a message from source. So it's all identical. But really, their way that they're talking about that message wouldn't be totally identical. It would be the same difference as two people trying to talk about the exact same event. It's their version of it. Okay, so I'm wanting to make clear that your messages from your guides are coming through your personal filter, and you are allowed to challenge that. And then go, okay, wow, so that's the message from my guides in the subconscious. Let's look at this tangibly. So she's aiming for 3 people per week. You know, perhaps they meant that she should be getting 3 clients per week, paying in full, because that's her offer. So it depends how specific you ask the questions, how specific you can, and it doesn't mean that she can't take actions above and beyond that. Maybe she's doing 3 of this, that, but she's still got to make life work for her financially, instead of closing everything else off and just going, well, that's what Spirit has said, and that's what I'm condemned myself to do. If it's a message from Spirit that's go and be free, go and walk the land, you've got to sell your house, go out, live your passion, be in the world, we will provide for you, you don't need any money, just trust, that's totally different. In my opinion, because that's that person's sole desire to go travelling, to do that, to be free, to trust, to step into that journey. And their account of it would be that they were absolutely fine, that they were fed, watered, that they didn't suffer. yes, it's like that old, I would say, religious belief that if you're walking the path of God, you better suffer. I don't think that that's true. I want to eradicate that from thinking, because I don't think it serves people to be working their bum off for hardly any. So $75 a week if she hit her goal from what her guides had told her. $75 a week is not going to provide the financial support for rent, for food, all of the things that she needs at all. So if she's going to do that, she would need another job. And if she did go into this, well, that's what Spirit has said, that's what I'll do, she might end up getting really ill, living on the streets for a long time, doing it all on purpose. But how would she be doing it? Would she be doing it in martyr mode, going, oh my goodness, why is God condemning me like this? Oh, why, Spirit, why have you said I can only have 3 people per week? Oh, and now I can't afford to do da-da-da-da-da. And then you're blaming your God for you being in that situation because of that message that you had from Spirit. And I'm saying, wow, let's take some radical responsibility here. If it's going to drive your passion and lead you to travel and be an inspirational human being and do what you've always wanted to do that was handwritten on your soul, yes, go do it, listen. But if it's going to condemn you to the street and you'll be living a life in martyr mode going, I should be being punished for trying to do this work, that's not a decision that's going to serve you. Therefore, I would say, look at your own filter that it's come through. It's not an excuse to keep you in a box, to keep you condemned, to keep you beating yourself up. There's more in the subconscious here that gets to be looked at. And are you using your, that's what my guides have said, as a total block and as an excuse to invite other people's perception and other people's opinion in? Because therefore, then, the message isn't serving you. It's cutting you off. And love, in my opinion, expands. If the message opens you up to expansion and love, because love is source, love is all there is, and love expands, then I think you're on track. If it keeps you in a box and closes you in, that's fear. That's a fear-based thought. Fear would be the sponsoring thought of that reaction. So to go, no, I can't do anything else because that's what Spirit has said. And okay, I'll just live on the streets and eat nothing and in martyr mode and then complain about it all the time. Like, why don't I have anything? I would offer up that's not an effective communication with Source. That ain't serving anybody. And people will then use their trump card to keep themselves in pain and in trauma. And my opinion of that is, excuse me, you're doing it to yourself. That's your choice and your opinion. Don't blame Source, messages, guides for actually the choices that you're making in your life. You're doing it. Take some responsibility. Does that land? I want to be so encouraging of people talking, because everybody has the capability to talk with Spirit, to connect with their thoughts, to have these aha, euphoric, emotional moments, up level, raise their consciousness. Everyone has that. And if it's serving you and it expands you, yes. If it doesn't, do you get to look again, or are you closing yourself off? All my love.